Oh my God. Why did it go live? Whatever. We'll take another one afterward. Hey, everybody. This is Andy Hill and Nicole Hill here. We are here
taking awkward photos.
We're taking awkward photos, and we got caught off guard.
Busted.
But we are here for another episode of Bread and Wine.
It's great.
And we're laughing just to start off. That's a good way to start, laughing.
Yeah.
This is a weekly conversation that I have with my awesome wife, Nicole, and we are talking about money, relationships, life, careers, all sorts of stuff. And we are so glad to be hanging out with you guys every week for this pleasure. So thank you.
Carlos, you there?
Carlos is probably going to show up again.
Oh, Bazuni's here.
Bazuni's here.
Hi, baby.
So what do you want to talk about this week?
So, like as usual, I pull from things that have happened to us in the past week, right?
I like it.
So I'll start with a story of what I was doing when the idea popped in my head. So I went for a run with my girlfriend. And I was, it was airing of grievances, of course, because that's what we do when we run. We, get our daily therapeutic session in. And I was talking to her about what's going on at work because I've been a little stressed lately. And I was telling her that a woman on our team is leaving. And instead of backfilling her position, they're going to split it, and just give it out to existing people and that are on the team. And I am one of them. So I'm going to be taking on, 1/3 of somebody else's role. And this has happened to me a lot since I've started. And I'm a people pleaser. I like to say yes when opportunities come my way and I want to do a good job at them. So when they say, hey, can you take this on? My answer is always yes. So I was telling my friend about this and she's like, heck no, you need to use that as leverage to get a raise to, now you're doing more work, you're more valuable, get some more money. And I felt my blood pressure rise. And I was like trying to think why is this happening? Why am I getting stressed out thinking about making more money and thinking about asking for a raise and thinking about essentially continuing to grow my career? Why is this stressing me out? And the realization I came to is I don't want more money, which is like a weird thing to say, I think. And I was shocked by that revelation. I'm like, wait, am I feeling this right? The thought of making more money does not make me excited. It stresses me out. And I think the reason for that is I know that more money equals more responsibility. It equals more expectations. It has lots of strings attached. And I like my work-life balance right now. Yeah. And I'm afraid that getting a promotion and making more money is going to strip that away.
So you feel like money is going to equal more responsibility, more time, more, I guess, less time doing the things you're excited about outside of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And one might say, well, Nicole, you are already being asked to do this, extra work. So you're going to be doing it no matter what. But I think that there's a mental element that goes along with this where if I'm getting paid more money, I will put the stress on myself to answer emails past 5:00 to, not take a vacation and truly disconnect. But, I just think that I will feel more pressure to over deliver than if I'm, getting paid a certain salary and it's like, hey, this is my role. This is how much I can do. And outside of that, I'm going to, continue to have a work-life balance because I don't get paid to work 25 hours a day and a 24-hour day.
How does this compare to earlier parts of your career then?
Honestly, I don't think I ever sat down and thought about it. We live in this capitalist society. That's the thing. We are, man, we're just told and kind of broadcast to that everything should be bigger, better, more. And I never really questioned that. I
Mhm.
just kept following that path. But then I felt myself getting more and more unhappy at my job.
Yeah.
So I guess to answer your question, I continue, in the past, I've always like tried to climb that ladder.
Sure.
It's just not until now that I'm like, well, wait a minute. Like, where am I climbing to?
Yeah,
That
sure.
doesn't look exciting.
Yeah, that's true.
So tell me your journey with this. Like, because you
Yeah.
climbed the corporate ladder
Yeah,
pretty
I did.
quickly.
Yeah, well, I mean, for a long period of time, I wanted to because that meant more money and I needed it. Like in my 20s, I think I was making $28,000 out of college. And it took me, I would say, until you and I were married. So maybe another 8 years for me to break like 50K in my
Yeah,
salary.
when we got together, I was making more
Yeah, you were
for
making
about
more.
like 2 months.
Yeah. And during that time, I just felt really claustrophobic because what I did is I graduated from college and I immediately had the desires of the things that my parents had. I was
Yeah.
like, hey, well, they've got a house. I should get a house.
Took them
Yeah,
55 years to get there, but
right.
no, I'm going to be there
I'm
at
going to get it
22.
at 22 and they have a luxury car. I'm going to get a luxury car.
Yeah.
And they're able to go out to dinner, or I really love going out to dinner. I love going out to concerts. I love going to the bar. I want to do all of that. You know me. I love all the stuff.
Mm-hmm. Dandy and
So
dandy.
yeah, but I was only making $28,000 or $30,000, however much it was. So
Advertising.
I, started spending on my home equity line of credit. I started borrowing for my student loans. I figured out other ways to make money. I got some roommates and things like that. But for the longest period of time, I just wanted to make more money. So I was all about climbing the corporate ladder. And I eventually got to a point where I could bump my salary up quite a bit and my status at the company. But to your point, man, did the amount of work and stress and hours and weekends and mornings and evenings get eaten up because of that bump. Because I was essentially jumping into a fire of a client
Yeah.
that nobody wanted to jump into the fire. And I said, hey, I'm 28 or whatever. I'll jump into that fire. You're going to give me double my salary? They're like, yep. And I said, okay, I'll jump into that fire.
You sold your
I
soul.
sold my soul.
So
Automotive
when
marketing,
would
baby.
you when would you say you were the happiest? Like I know you're happiest now
Mm,
with your podcast, but
yeah.
prior to this, when were you the happiest in your career?
Mm.
Was it when you had less, when you first started out and had less responsibility, less money? Or was it later on more money, but
You know
more
what? There was
responsibility?
a point during that promotion. I think I was in that position for maybe 3 or 4 years. And I think it was maybe in the second or third year. Once I started to get my groove,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was selling like crazy. I hit some record sales goals for the company. I would make a lot more than I made in the beginning, and I was making my boss happy. I was making me happy. I was making you happy with all the cool things that we could do,
Yeah,
and I was able to
you were
hire people.
successful.
I felt
You were
very
like you
successful.
had a win like
Yeah,
every day. Plus we
yeah.
didn't have kids yet.
We were. I think Zoe was like, you were pregnant, or Zoe was in the world that year or something in 2012. And yeah, that was a really good year. And I felt good because I was able, with my success in my role, I was able to give people jobs, which was cool. I think by the time that year ended, I think we had like 7 or 8 people on the team. And that was cool for a small agency that only had like 40 people. Like I was responsible. I was an assistant to helping people get jobs, which was cool. It made
Yeah.
me feel really good. So that was a good time. But with that, with the unicorn years come the bad years, and the
Yeah.
bad years followed after that, and you know,
And the money wasn't like it didn't make up for.
no, the money didn't make up for it. I think the problem with making money at any level is that you get used to it, and then
Right.
you're like, well, even though I made $200,000 this year, I got to deal with all these people. It's like, okay, well, what do you want to do?
Yeah. It's
So
crazy how it gets eaten up so quickly and so easily.
Yeah.
And it's not a huge shift.
Right.
Like,
I'm proud of the
it's,
things that we did with that money.
yeah.
But
Mm,
yeah, I mean, your mindset shifts really fast.
right. So I was thinking that like it's almost like a line item in our budget. Like when we go through our budget every month,
Mhm.
the amount that like let's say that there was a line item that was like peace of mind and happiness, right?
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
almost like the amount of money that we could make
Mhm.
in me accepting a promotion or asking for a promotion is going to be that like it's going to be go against that line item.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
I'd be very nervous of that because I love what we have
Yeah.
lately.
It's almost like
I
currently
really
we
do.
we have a line item and call it $10,000 or $20,000.
Mhm.
And that's what we're paying right now for this work-life balance
Yeah.
and this peace of mind and this kind of just like the everyday vacation, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
And if I were to take a promotion,
I'd lose you.
that line item goes from what? Call it 10 or 20,000
Mhm.
and it goes to 40,000.
Right. And we
Um,
could use things with that 40,000, but
I feel like the things that we would
I don't know, it might be
buy with
minimal.
it would be the things that we would buy with more money right now are more vacations. So
Yeah.
like does that even make sense? Do I need to work more to take more vacation or can I just take a
Just enjoy your
kind of
vacation day.
enjoy every
Yeah.
day instead,
Exactly.
It's interesting.
Yeah. And with the time that we wouldn't have you, it would be like, well, what are we going to do to entertain ourselves? We'd end up spending the money without you. And
Mhm.
I mean, right now I get you at 5 for this, and I could, or
Yeah, that's
6
right.
for
That's
this.
right.
We could have a wine and
Yeah.
enjoy ourselves and connect more. And
But I think a lot of this is because of our
I
personalities.
know. Yeah, you're right.
I think honestly, it reminds me of how when we talk about paying off the mortgage,
Mhm.
there are a lot of people who like vehemently just disagree with that.
Yes,
I
I've
mean,
met
you've
some of
gotten
them.
yeah, you've gotten some social media comments for, for another
Yes.
time.
I'm a horrible person.
So, but I think that, just like with anything, there's no right or wrong answer. It's your personal decision. And the fact that you and I have thought about, you know, paying off the mortgage making sense for us, even though mathematically we could make more money doing something else.
Mhm.
I think we take in our minds, this is how we justify it. We take okay, we've paid 3% up 3% loan on our house down, right? When we could have put that money in
Made
the market and
10%.
made 10.
Yeah.
So call it 7%. So there's the 7%. I'm holding it right now.
Okay.
This pack of money.
Yeah.
I would pay this money for the peace of mind of never thinking about losing my house or for, just the serenity and calmness that I feel every day knowing that we don't have a mortgage payment.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the money that I've paid that I'm willing to pay for that.
Mhm.
So it- that's because we don't like risk and we do not like the day-to-day stress of having a payment hanging over our heads. But that's our personalities.
Absolutely.
So that's why I think it makes sense that I'm, again, taking that stack of money. Here's my raise. I will give you back my raise. I don't want that
if
raise
I can have my peace of mind.
to give me my work-life balance back.
I
That's
think
what
you
I'm
just defined the
trading.
secret. I don't know. I think that's it, man.
But again, it's our personalities.
It is our
because I need
personalities.
that
You're right.
work-life balance. I am not a workaholic. I'm a jack of all trades. I need a bunch of things. So I want to work. I love working.
Yep.
And I want to be really good at it, but I don't want that to be all that I do.
You want to do it for a portion of your week.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to do some decorating around the house and painting and I need a creative outlet for a few hours of the week. I need time with my kids. I need I need time with you, like, again, doing bread and wine.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I will gladly pay that money back to the company or not accept it at all in order to feel okay putting in the amount of hours that I need to put in to make me feel good about the amount that I'm
I think that's
receiving.
great. I think the fact that you have that
I'm
mindset.
rambling.
No,
Yeah,
you're not.
I'm
The
rambling.
fact that you have that mindset means you've broken out of that rat race. Like
Yeah.
I gotta go make more. I gotta get all this stuff done. I gotta buy this stuff. I gotta get a bigger house.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I've talked about bigger house or whatever, bigger anything a lot. We're like, well, maybe we should take all of the money, all the equity we have in this house and buy another one. Would that make us happier? And we're both like, no, why? Don't. And I'm proud of us for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a good epiphany to have, especially with your career, because there are positions for everybody. Not everybody needs to climb the corporate ladder because at the top of the ladder, there's only a few positions, right? We, a
Yeah.
corporation needs a lot of people
And
to
how
get the
many
work
times
done.
do you look at the people in those positions and be like, I want that life?
Totally.
Do you? I
No,
mean, I
no, I
don't
mean,
know.
like, I've been at companies where I'm like, I'm like, all right, do I want to climb the corporate ladder? Because if I do, I look at my boss or my boss's boss, and he doesn't look that happy. He
Yeah.
looks like he's really
I'm
stressed. He's making a lot of money,
And that's
but he looks
where
real
this train is
stressed.
taking you.
Yeah,
This train is taking you there to your boss's face. Does he
right.
look happy?
Yeah, that's where you got
Yeah.
to look.
Right.
Or are the clients that I'm going to be interfacing with every day if I go for the $200,000 job?
Mm-hmm.
Are they good people? Are they going to treat me nicely? Am I going to hate my life every day coming home from work? Am I going to question myself every
Right.
day? Is
Yeah.
that worth it? No. I mean, maybe maybe this is centered around an industry or centered around a specific geography, and people don't deal with this everywhere they work. But yeah, I mean, it's real. I mean, it's been the majority of my career. It's shaped. It's partly shaped the reason that I wanted out completely. And if I ever do go back to a full time job,
Mm-hmm.
it is not going to be in the stuff that you and I were doing. I mean, we both work in a corporate marketing, advertising, events, PR, that kind of realm, and it can be glamorous in the beginning when you're young because there's lots of young people in there, and then after a while, it gets kind of tiring. So you got to find your little niche in there that works well for you. And I just got burnt out from it. I
Yeah.
rode that corporate ladder,
Yeah.
and then I got to the
You're
peak of it, and
driving
I'm like,
Bentleys at 21
I was
across
driving
the
Bentleys.
country.
That was cool. That was cool, and it was great for a 21-year-old. But
Yeah.
yeah, I needed some of that work life balance, and I needed some of that family time, as Carlos is
Hi,
pointing out right now. Family time.
Carlos.
Okay. Carlos is in the stream saying family time is priceless. It's very true. I completely agree with that sentiment. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I do. I agree with that too. It is priceless. So
And that's where I felt empty for a really long time.
Yeah.
I was traveling a lot. I'm making good money. I feel like I'm doing right by the family. I'm making good money. We're doing some cool things. We're planning for the future. But then I'm like, I'm not around them. I'm traveling all the time. I
Mhm.
miss them. So yeah,
Mhm.
owning your time.
The
Owning your
cost.
time, I think, is the ultimate luxury. You could be a millionaire, billionaire, whatever. If you don't own your time, I don't think you got it.
Right.
But that's just me. What do you
There's
think?
so much more we could say about this, but we have run out of
Oh,
time.
we did. All right.
So,
Well, in
key
the
takeaways.
scheme of timing run out, let's do some takeaways. Lead us, my dear.
So I would say, okay, key takeaway number 1 is just the realizing like you have choices. Like capitalism is something wanting more, wanting, bigger, better, always needing to like keep going up and up and up that's a choice, you know? So if you have a passion around that and you're doing what you love and that makes sense, that's great. But again, you don't have to. So I think key takeaway number 1 is just realizing that you can, like, I mean, ego aside, like, yeah, I have
That's
trouble,
a big part of it.
right?
Yeah.
I have trouble with that because I'm essentially by title, I'm an executive assistant.
Sure.
I'm almost 40.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, well, I was on my path. I should be an SVP or EVP by now. And I'm an executive assistant. And, so there's part of the ego that you got to let go of. But ultimately realizing that it is a choice and I don't need to have a bigger house and I don't need to climb the corporate ladder if I don't want to. It's
That's
okay.
relieving.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, I mean, I I deal with the ego thing a lot in this little small business of mine because I used to make a couple $100,000 or whatever in my good years, and
Yeah.
now I'm making like a quarter of that. And some days I feel really sad about that, and then some days I'm like, no, man, you got the schedule, you got the life, you got the work that you're doing, and now
Mhm.
you're happy. So it's going to take me a little while, I think, to
Mhm.
realize the things that you're saying. That it's like, let it go.
Mhm.
Find that happy spot and
Mhm.
live it. And then maybe that'll be my takeaway number 2 is contentment. How do we find that spot that makes us happy
Right.
and then ride it? Ride it and then see what we can do to improve. And by improving, I don't mean like capitalism, like bigger, better, better. It's like,
Yeah.
what can we do to just make our days better? Like
Yeah.
find those traditions that you love with your family. Find those things that you love doing and how can we amplify those to make them even better, make people feel great. The people that we love in our lives, how can we make them feel better? I think that's something I'm excited about
Yeah.
exploring more.
Okay, so then I'll take that and I'll add on it and
Yeah,
I'll
number
make the
3.
key takeaway number 3, which is just to remember it's about the journey and not the destination.
Yeah, I love it.
So, as long as you're enjoying the journey, whatever that may be, that's great. For me, it's staying stagnant at my job.
You don't have to call it
It
stagnant.
sounds so
Stagnant
bad,
sounds like
but
mucky water.
I mean, yeah, but I mean that's okay. So maybe let me put
You're
my
vibrant.
like
You're in like a bubbling hot tub and you don't want to get out. How about that?
yeah, okay. Yeah. That sounds
Yeah.
way better. That's
Yeah.
like calling an old house charming instead of rickety. I like it.
No,
I
you
like it.
just talked a whole episode of why it's great. Now
Yeah.
you're gonna call it stagnant
No,
water.
I'm just saying
You're in the
that's
hot tub, my dear.
yeah,
And you're
yeah.
choosing not to get out
Right.
into the cold air. You like the hot tub. Stay in the hot tub. I'm using a hot tub metaphor
I
for
know.
you.
I know. Anything that says hot tub, I'm in. Yeah. So just kind of like realizing it's about the day to day. So if you're having fun climbing the corporate ladder, great. All the power to you. But if you're climbing it and you're whoa, am I just on autopilot? Why am I doing this? Why am I looking for the next promotion so I can get more money so I can work harder and then have to, like pay for a vacation when I have 360 days where I hate my life and then 5 where I go have a
Yeah.
great luxurious 5-star vacation? Like is that I think it's more about the 360 days, not about the 5.
I love it. I don't
Alright.
think we can go any further than that.
All right.
I love it. Thank
And
you
we
so
are
much. I
so out of
appreciate it. This
time.
is a great
like
conversation.
way over.
Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Carlos, as always, we're just going to call you out every episode, man. We love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much
Cheers.
for
I
being
know
here.
you don't drink, but your water glass. Cheers.
Cheers to your water glass. Carlos says we can always make more money, but we can't make more time. Hashtag Carlos right there. Carlos, thank you so much for your inspiration. We love
it.
having you here and reminding us what the heck we were just talking about for 20 minutes. Absolutely.
I blacked out what
Because
happened.
we black out and we're like, wah. And Dana, thank you so much for being here. Happy to join you both today. Nice work. Thank you very much, Dana. And yeah, we're having a blast here, everybody. If you want to comment and hang out with us live on YouTube, we are here every Friday. And I'd love to tell you time. It's between like it's between like 5:30 and 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're like hanging out on YouTube around that time, we're gonna be there. We're eventually gonna nail it down.
Yeah.
But we
Life
got all
is
this
too
other
crazy
life
right now.
stuff going on right now. But we appreciate everybody being here. If you got a comment, please leave it in the stream here on YouTube. You can check us out if you're listening to the podcast, marriagekidsandmoney.com/YouTube. You can hit us up on social at Andy Hill MKM on any social media platform. And I'm just going to give a shout out to cauliflower pizza
Oh my God. So
that we just
good.
had
From Costco.
from Costco. I was skeptical because I'm like, cauliflower pizza,
Yeah.
because they're going to be good. Just as good as regular pizza, like a thin crust kind of pizza.
Yeah.
And we're sold because we were kind of doing this like low carb thing. It's good. So
Yeah.
anyway, shout out to low carb cauliflower pizza at Costco. Check it out.
Sponsor.
Yeah, maybe we'll go for that. And until next week, everybody, cheers.
Cheers.